I'd love to fight for a world title, man. Who's there? Lara. Yeah, guys like that, you know, like that's where I'm aiming for. You know, I want to win a world title, but I got to say, beating a great like Errol Spence tops any world title off for me.
Spence just came out here to cash a check or came out for a holiday. It's not true. He came to fight. He was tough. He went 12 rounds and was fighting until the end. Landed a few on Tim at the end. It's just a very well drilled, very determined Tim. Yeah. Okay, Spence is not the fighter he once was.
No. Tim did what Tim had to do to get the victory. Yeah. He was patient. He went well to the body, and you know, he threw the right hand, landed the right hand when he had to, and he got the job done.
Imagine stepping back into the ring after spending 3 long years away, traveling halfway around the world into hostile territory with the goal of reclaiming your place at the top, only to find yourself trapped in a complete nightmare. Errol Spence Jr. arrived in Sydney, Australia, determined to prove that the truth was still one of the most dangerous and respected fighters in boxing. Instead, he came face to face with a determined, relentless Tim Tszyu, who was fighting to keep his career alive. What unfolded over 12 grueling rounds did more than stun everyone inside the arena. It sent powerful shockwaves throughout the entire boxing world.
Activity. I would like to see Spence do well, but Tszyu's a tough guy too.
Yeah. Did you know his father at all, Katsa?
Yes, I met his father.
Yeah, hell of a fighter.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah. And then I asked him.
I think the son, the father might be tougher. I think the son's a better fighter.
Okay.
The father's probably tougher though, but I think the son, his moves, he's a better fighter.
Okay. All right.
Johnny Lewis, what do you think of that?
Good performance by Tim. I thought he controlled it and dictated it. I thought he won well.
What do you make of Jeff in his corner? Obviously a victory is a great thing.
Well, he's a lot better than what he's had in there in the past.
What's it like to see this happen, this event, and a victory like this? What's it mean for you to see something like this in Australia?
Well, it's breathing fire into our sport, so wonderful.
Did you see it as wide as the cards were? Did you see it as wide as the cards were?
I never had a doubt that he won. I thought he went close again.
From the opening bell, Spence looked to establish control by using his trademark jab and driving powerful left hands to Tszyu's body to dictate the pace of the fight. During the opening rounds, the former unified champion appeared sharp and confident, keeping Tszyu at range while his corner celebrated every clean shot that landed. However, Tszyu remained calm behind a tight high guard, patiently waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The momentum shifted dramatically in the 6th round when Tszyu fired a crushing right counter that landed cleanly on Spence, leaving him visibly shaken. From that moment forward, the effects of ring rust and years of physical wear began to show. Tszyu pressed ahead without hesitation, cutting off the ring and unleashing powerful combinations through Spence's fading defense. Spence attempted to survive by relying on his footwork, even giving away several late rounds while believing he still held the advantage on the scorecards. By the 12th and final round, Spence looked exhausted, struggled to keep his balance, and absorbed several clean power shots while trapped near the ropes. When the final bell sounded, the judges confirmed what everyone inside the arena had already witnessed, awarding Tszyu a commanding unanimous decision with scores of 118 to 110 and 117 to 111 on the other 2 scorecards.
I think physicality was the difference, you know. I was starving myself to get to 154, and I feel a big difference at 160. I feel like, I just feel much stronger, you know. One of my big things is strength, being able to bully my opponents, and I felt like that's what I did. I was actually a bit in shock. I thought, you know, Errol Spence was a legend again, but how I felt in front of him just felt completely different. But then again, he knows how to bounce back. But again, he was on survival half the time. He was running around. I was touching him up to the body. I think that was a big difference. Every time I hit him, straight right to the body. He was going, you know, and sort of like me and him are the only ones that can hear that. And his body shots, they weren't landing. I was sort of catching. I was very well aware of it. My thing was to catch, shoot. That's all we practiced for the first 3 rounds. In my first, you know, I've been dropped 4 times, I think, 3 times in the first round. So my thing is, I get too excited very quickly, so I need to slow it down and be able to, you know, take the fight nice and slowly. So that's why I was just like, you know what, think of defense first, and then the offense will go from that. No, I think I can do better. I think I need to let my hands go a bit more. I could have. I felt like I could have stopped him. I felt like it was there for the taking. But look, I'm pretty happy with beating a legend, Errol Spence, in one of the biggest fights of Australian boxing history. You know, it's pretty cool. I don't think it's sunk in yet.
As the official decision echoed throughout the arena, several boxing personalities who were live streaming the event reacted with complete disbelief. Bill Haney watched the closing rounds unfold live and immediately pointed out what he believed was a major tactical mistake by Spence. Haney explained that Spence seemed convinced he was already on his way to victory, choosing to stay on his bicycle and surrender the important 11th and 12th rounds instead of finishing strong. However, as Tszyu continued applying relentless pressure, Haney highlighted the exact moment Spence's balance appeared compromised after absorbing a clean right hand near the ropes. The Haney camp scored the fight comfortably in Tszyu's favor, emphasizing how dangerous it is to coast through the final rounds when the judges are watching the hometown star consistently land the cleaner, harder, and more damaging punches.
Last 10 seconds, you know, as an Australian, he's going to give it all he can for the last 10 seconds. Let's look for something big.
Australia's on their feet, and I think that they think that they have a winner tonight. I think Australia thinks that they have a winner tonight.
That was a great fight. What do you think, Dad? That was a great fight?
I love another night of boxing. That was a great fight to me. You see that I think the Australians is happy. They look like that their win, that they won tonight.
Yes.
They're happy with their guy.
They said 7-5 Spence, 8-4 Tim Tszyu. We have a lot of mixed emotions in the chat, so we're gonna see. And obviously we give that round to Tim Tszyu, correct?
Yes.
So according to the Haney scorecards, we have it 116-112 in favor of Tim Tszyu. 116-112 in favor of Tim Tszyu. Somebody said a draw. Somebody said Tim Tszyu won. Somebody said Errol Spence won. It's a lot of mixed emotions, like I said.
Yeah, somebody said it might be a draw too. It might be a draw.
If it's a draw, would you like to see a rematch?
If it's a draw, you would almost have to give
a rematch, right?
Yes. There was some swing rounds in there, though. Definitely. I do agree with them.
Definitely.
You know? So with us being 7-4, it could easily be 6-6 or 7-5 Spence. Oh, that was a heck of a fight, man.
Great fight. Great night of boxing.
Great night of boxing.
And Australia got another good fight.
That's always good.
Ooh. What are your thoughts on Tim Tszyu's dad, Costa Tszyu? Did you ever get to watch him? When, you know, obviously he was too old for me. I never knew about him.
Great fighter. One day you got to watch the fight with him and Uncle Zad. I didn't like that one. That was Heartbreak Hotel. House is a good champion.
Turn it up for the scorecards?
No.
Turn it up for the scorecard? Yeah, they got you.
Adding even more intrigue to the moment was Terence "Bud" Crawford, who was seated in the front row at ringside. Crawford, the man who handed Spence the first defeat of his professional career back in 2023, watched every second of the fight with a calm and unreadable expression. His quiet presence alone became a major talking point, as fans and analysts closely followed every reaction while witnessing Spence struggle through one of the toughest nights of his career. Watching Spence get outboxed and outworked by a relentless younger opponent immediately sparked intense discussion among boxing analysts. Crawford's presence at ringside served as a powerful reminder of just how quickly the hierarchy in boxing can change. One dominant performance can shift the balance of an entire division, proving that yesterday's champion can suddenly find himself chasing the next generation of elite fighters.
Just they have it. From the jump, you can tell that his balance was off. He was reaching. You know, he just didn't have it tonight.
You know, do you think it was a layoff? Do you think it was a combination of things? Like, what do you think?
Probably all of it.
All of it? Yeah.
He didn't take the punches well. He was slow. Like, you could just tell that Tim was more fresher.
Was it hard for you to watch?
Kinda. You know, I really wanted him to do real well. He did what he had to do to finish the fight, though. You know.
Hopefully he comes over here.
On Errol. All the best, Errol. You're a legend, mate.
Tim did what Tim had to do to get the victory. Yeah. He was patient. He went well to the body, and you know, he threw the right hand, landed the right hand when he had to, and.
Industry insiders remarked that watching Spence get thoroughly outclassed from the front row felt like the closing chapter of an era, leaving many fans wondering whether Crawford's dominant victory 3 years earlier had permanently taken away the legendary durability Spence was once known for. Inside the ring, moments after the final bell, an emotional Tim Tszyu made a surprising confession that caught everyone by surprise. During his official post-fight interview, Tszyu revealed that he had spent many sleepless nights before the fight questioning whether he was truly ready to face a legendary fighter like Spence. However, following the guidance of Hall of Fame trainer Jeff Fennick, Tszyu stayed composed through the early body attack before taking complete control in the later rounds. Tszyu then announced that 160 pounds is officially his new weight class, delivered a blunt, "I told you so" message to every critic who doubted his comeback, and immediately called out middleweight champion Errol Lara as his next target.
When I was hitting him in the body, I could feel him like really slowing down, and I remember the face he had during Crawford, and he had the same face. It was like bruised up, and his eyes were swollen. His nose was busted from round 2. The straight right was really landing. I was trying to mix it up from head body. I was trying to just get rid of his front hand and his jab, just one of his biggest keys. And whenever he come in for the body, he was sort of, his head's here, so that's why I wanted to land a nice uppercut. I feel like I had fast twitch muscles. He's throws more punches and sort of at that same one rhythm at all times. And that's what he's been great at to break people down. But I was able to just beat him with speed. He's a legend of the game. I just asked him, actually, I go, "What's one tip that you would give?" He goes, "Stay patient." He goes, "When you're not rushing in, you're very dangerous. When you wait, you're a very good counterpuncher, and you got very, very fast hands, very reactive." So I think that's what made me win the fight. Even watching But watching Errol in the previous fights, he's very, again, one-dimensional. He sort of doesn't have that. But I was watching Benavidez. You know, I watched him against Ramirez, and Ramirez is the same. He throws a lot of punches, but then Benavidez, what he does was he was able to control it, be able to block it, use his front hand, front guard, strong guard, and then let go with crazy combinations. Sort of trying to get that.
But me watching it, I'm like, something was wrong with it. Something was wrong with it. And not saying he probably did, but he didn't, or he did, but me, probably needed the money.
For Tszyu, defeating an all-time great like Spence meant far more than winning another world title, as the victory further cemented the Tszyu family's legendary undefeated legacy in Australia. Throughout the boxing community, former champions and respected analysts quickly stepped forward to examine exactly where everything went wrong for Spence. Former welterweight champion Shawn Porter explained that facing a powerful puncher like Tszyu after 36 months of inactivity was a calculated gamble that ultimately failed. Analyst Paulie Malignaggi shared the same opinion, emphasizing that at 36 years old, after recovering from serious car accidents, eye surgeries, and dealing with significant ring rust, Spence's reaction time was clearly slower than before. Most experts agreed that while Spence's courage, determination, and fighting spirit were never in doubt, his reflexes simply could not match the split-second adjustments required to compete successfully at the highest level of professional boxing.
It has to be the right trainer with the right fighter, and not necessarily always the greater trainer is the greater fit for said fighter. Some trainers are specialists, Kenny, with you. Okay, so he mentioned, would Manny have been the same without Freddie? No, that was a match made in heaven. Freddie Roach was an all-offense fighter. That's why guys like Roger Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, they would have their way with Freddie in sparring because they were much better defensive fighters, long-range fighters. But one thing Freddie could do was he was a tough mofo that would let his hands go and knew how to let his hands go. Punch and combination, he just wasn't able to get out of the way of enough. So you give him a pupil like Pacquiao, who's going to be at his best, throwing a lot of punches, throwing a lot of combinations, being offensive-minded. It's just he has the kind of athletic talent with his foot speed, his hand speed that Freddie wasn't blessed with.
Right.
So he can take what Freddie brings to the table, add it in with his own natural talent, and go to a whole other level.
Right.
Bomac with Richard Torres, it's not a great fit. Bomac with Lester Martinez makes sense. Bomac with Tiger Johnson makes sense. These are guys that can circle the ring, fight at longer distances than a 6'1" heavyweight who's got to crowd you and pressure you. Richard Torres would have been better with Kenny Porter, for example, because Kenny taught Shawn that kind of style. So Bomac is a great trainer. Chris Eubank Jr. had some strong performances under Bomac because he's more of a long-range kind of guy, like Bud Crawford, like Martinez, like Tiger, like Jamel Herring. He got Jamel Herring to use his distance a lot better, but he wasn't the right fit for someone like Richard Torres. Richard Torres' father was probably a better fit for Richard Torres than Bomac was. What makes a great trainer is more times than not, their imprint, regardless of fighter, has a positive impact. But not even the best trainers. Emmanuel Stewart made Jermaine Taylor worse. Jermaine Taylor was better under Pat Burns. Is Pat Burns a better trainer than Emmanuel Stewart? Absolutely not. But was he a better trainer for Jermaine Taylor? Yes, he was. So it's all about fit. But the best trainers, they have a good conversion rate. Robert Garcia, Nacho Beristain, Emmanuel Stewart, Bomac, all these guys, they tend to make you better.
I'm going to stick to it because I'm an Australian. You know, so I'm always going to. I come from a land down under, mate. I'm always going to back the Australian, and I think the weight is probably going to be in Tim's favour. He looks good. He looks fresh. I don't see any gauntness. I don't see much cheekbone. That's a real factor when someone's weighing in is how much of their cheekbone you can see. You know, he looks more Australian than Russian. You know, they got people tell me you could cross for Russian because of these cheekbones I got. And so I get asked all the time, "Are you from Russia?" I've been asked that, and I'm not joking, 100 times in my life, easy 100 times. But yeah, I didn't see it on Tim. He looked really good. He looked like he has a pretty full face. His complexion looked really healthy. and as did Errol. They both look really good.
A phenomenal performance. Really, like, a lot of it was unexpected. I felt that, like, just the way the fight went. Everyone apart from Paulie Malignaggi was saying the longer the fight goes, the more it favours Spence. He's going to pull away. He's going to be too crafty. He's going to be too slick.
Yeah.
It was more of a dogfight, more of a battle in the trenches, I felt. And even then, if the fight had gone that way, you asked me this yesterday, I thought, I don't know how much is left in Tim's chin and his body. But he came through. He pulled through. I was really impressed with the way that he fought, with how he basically almost nullified everything Spence was trying to do. Spence went to the body. Spence tried to fight in close. Spence tried to fight at range. No luck anywhere.
Yeah.
Super impressive, career-saving, career-changing win from Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, I thought that was the thing too. When Spence come in and wanted to fight on the inside, I think he was surprised at Tim's defence on the inside. Yeah, he landed some body shots. He probably landed double the body shots Tim Tszyu landed. But when he was in close, I don't think he could be as effective or damage Tim Tszyu in the way he thought. And then, that's when he started moving. Impressive performance from Tim Tszyu.
Yes, absolutely. Now the boxing world is caught in a heated debate about what the future holds for the truth. Social media erupted immediately after the fight, with fans, reporters, and boxing analysts flooding every platform with reactions. Many are urging Spence to retire before risking any further unnecessary punishment, arguing that he has already accomplished enough during his remarkable career. Others still believe he has something left to prove, but the overwhelming discussion now centers on whether continuing to fight is worth the physical risks that come with competing at the highest level.
Australian reporter who says that we got to stand behind Australian fighters. Why does Tim Tszyu lose to Errol Spence? And Terence Crawford gives his breakdown, and he's like, well, Errol Spence is... you think Errol Spence can take his punches? And Terence Crawford says he ain't got no choice if he want to win. He got to take his punches, right? It's a boxing match. That makes no sense, right? And so he's like, I don't think Terence Crawford, Errol Spence has nothing left. So they end up betting $7,000. Terence Crawford bets him $7,000, $5,000 US dollars, but it translates to $7,000 Australian dollars. So Terence Crawford said, "You already behind the 8 ball. I know what's going to happen. Tim Tszyu is a good fighter. Yes, the unknown with Errol Spence, but I'm standing behind Errol Spence."
George Rose made a historic win tonight, a dominant performance from Tim Tszyu, mate. What's the emotions right now for yourself?
Look, right now we've just come off the back of Errol Spence doing his press conference, and I thought he had a few beautiful things to say there. So pretty emotional about that at the moment. But the performance from Tim Tszyu today, I was that stoked for him. I was that proud of him, and it just felt good. I actually felt comfortable through the whole fight. Often I'm on the edge of my seat and really amped up, but I just felt so comfortable watching him because he looked so comfortable in there, and him at this weight I think is exciting for what could sit around the corner.
What could be next for Tim Tszyu? Obviously, guys like Lara there at middleweight, and some other guys as well. Where do we go from here, George?
Well, look, Tim mentioned that he wants to take a break, but a break for Tim is also not that long. Tim's a lot more active than most fighters, so a break for him could mean that we see him roll out again at the end of the year, and who that's against we'll be working on over the next few weeks, next few days. We'll work on a plan for what's next for him, because he said he likes fighting at 160. I thought he looked amazing at 160.
Critics believe Spence has nothing left to prove after unifying world titles and dominating the welterweight division for several years. The harsh reality of boxing is that Father Time remains undefeated, and returning to face elite competition after a long absence rarely ends with a storybook ending. Tim Tszyu's victory over Errol Spence Jr. represents a major turning point in the boxing world, showing that a new generation is prepared to take control. Spence displayed the heart and determination of a true champion by fighting until the final bell, but his future in the sport now appears more uncertain than ever. Did we just witness the final heartbreaking chapter in the career of a future Hall of Famer, or can Errol Spence Jr. somehow rise from the ashes and make one last remarkable comeback? That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming content. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned because we'll see you in the next video.